Yeah. Okay. Hello everyone. In this video, we will be sharing the experience of Mr. S. Divakar Bhat, who has been placed as an artificial intelligence researcher in Honda R&D Japan. Before we listen to Divakar, I would like to introduce him formally to our viewers. Divakar is a final year MTech student in the Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Bombay. His MTech specialization is Control and Computing. For his MTech thesis project, he is working on lifelong learning in visual recognition. During his MTech, he has also been working as a research assistant at a Vision and Image Processing Lab, also known as VIP Lab, in the Department of Electrical Engineering. He completed his BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from Model Engineering College, Kochi, Kerala in 2017. Divakar enjoys reading fiction and non-fiction books. Without further delay, I would request Divakar to share his experience of getting placed in Honda R&D. Thank you, Divakar. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot for allowing me to.
Yes, Divakar. So, Divakar, could you please tell us a bit about the firm Honda R&D and the details of the profile which you have been offered?
Okay. Yeah, Honda Research and Development is like they focus mainly on developing intelligent solution mobility systems for personal cars, and they also work on robotics. And specifically, what they try to do is like we all have heard about artificial intelligence. They are trying to implement it in this way. It's something like cooperative intelligence, where they want to utilize AI in cooperation with the user. It's not like one standalone system does everything, but there is some kind of communication happening between the user and the system, and in cooperation they make things work. So basically, the profiles which came were broadly based on behavior prediction, environment recognition, prediction of road users, scene understanding, path planning, action planning, and communication of man-machine communication. Continuous learning and control of robots, 3D post estimation, all these kind of work. These were the broad area of works which which Honda R&D works on. And as far my profile is concerned, I got selected as to the AI researcher profile. And mostly it's we haven't discussed the complete work part yet, but mostly it is on autonomous driving and mobility. And yeah, I applied only for two profiles. One was for Division 1, that is AI researcher, and the second JAF which I applied for was Division 3, computer vision engineer.
Okay. Yes, Divakar. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So as you have already mentioned that you applied for two of the jobs. That is first, of course, the AI researcher, artificial intelligence researcher, and another is computer or robot vision engineer. Yes. So, Divakar, we will talk, we will discuss a lot of things like your placement experience as we progress in this session. But before that, we would like to know a bit about, these days we hear a lot about machine learning engineer. And at the same time, we also hear about researcher, like machine learning researcher or AI researcher. So I am a bit curious, like what is the difference between, an AI engineer and an AI researcher? What separates these two things, or at least what is the line when we can say that this is an engineer or this is a researcher?
Yeah, basically I'll give a brief idea about this, but mostly it is set to depend on the firm, because it is not like globally accepted key AI researcher is this and ML engineer is this, but there is some sort of differentiation which is expected, and it's mostly like AI researchers, they basically work with building models and developing robust data to build machine learning models. They also this cleaning and interpretation of data using algorithms, and to spot a problem and devise a solution for that, and also evaluate them in conjunction with the theory, and also in how it will work on physical systems. And basically, it's like creating novel algorithms to achieve better performances on multiple applications. Like they develop algorithms in brief. And ML engineers are like, or AI engineers is like they work more towards this leveraging big data tools and programming frameworks. And basically, it's like they take theoretical data science or these models developed by researchers and they help them to scale it up. Like most of the researchers are mostly, I'm not, this is a generalistic way of thinking. Mostly researchers, they develop algorithm, but it may not be sure, they may not be sure how to scale it up or how it will perform when it is deployed,
Yes.
or maybe it's not deployment ready. For instance, for such cases, ML engineers, they try to scale it up so that it is ready for deployment. So yeah, so engineer is like more about putting into production, and research is more about developing proof of concepts. I think in Honda R&D, I think we are supposed to do both, like research and development.
Yes.
But basically, the profile is research.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Divakar. Yes, thank you for explaining this. Means what do you mean by these two terms? And so we will talk more about it. But before that, we would like to know about in case of master student, it's always like whether which MTP should I go for, or my MTech will help me in getting this job or not. So in your case, did your MTech specialization help you in getting this job?
Um, See, I specialized in control and computing.
Yes.
Control and computing in electrical engineering is basically mostly deals with theoretical and abstract approaches and controls. So that specialization, especially the control specialization, unlike other engineering specialization, will give you a very solid theoretical background.
Yeah.
We were mostly working on taught about linear algebra, probability, even though it is in control section, but it was mostly abstract maths. So that will give you a very solid stand over which you can build practical frameworks. And along with this, like that combination of theoretical academic track and my RA works, practical RA works in deep learning in Vision Lab, that combination and the research projects which I was able to do in Vision Lab, I think that helped me meet the profile requirement. And also the control as a stream might have reinforced the requirement a bit more.
Yes. 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 So as you have mentioned that the knowledge of the abstract mathematics that might have helped you. So again, that definitely brings us to another aspect of your career or of your academic career, like that you are specializing in control and computing. But and obviously you got a job of AI researcher. So if you could walk us through this journey, like when did you feel or when did you feel inclined towards artificial intelligence? So how did this transition
Okay.
happen actually?
Okay, that's quite a story to speak about. But yeah, I will give you a brief kind of
Yeah, we can talk
insight.
about it. People will find it
Yeah,
really
cool, cool.
motivating.
During my bachelor's, I started off with electrical engineering, which was mostly power related.
Yes.
Electrical electronics engineering degree, but power related, mostly machines, transformers, substations, and all. Out of that, I like control most, even though it was, yeah, I like control most, and gradually I developed my interest in robotics oriented subjects. I tried multiple times to go for Robocon. People who are interested in robotics, they will know what Robocon is.
Yeah.
It failed, obviously. So then I thought, okay, I will do a master's over this, which will help me go a bit more closer towards robotics. And gradually, what happened, like I think that is the time when I started to read more about AI, and I got too fascinated with that thought. We will be able to code stuff such that computer can see and understand stuff. It's kind of like we are trying to develop some kind of mind or consciousness into a system.
Yeah.
When I stretch it out. So yeah, I got fascinated, and that's when I realized I should try out ML AI. So that with both, it's not like pure theoretical stuff, but both, where I can get to apply all this knowledge. So that's when I thought I'll go for masters. So that's when my fascination started. I thought I'll go for masters, which will help me do this. And obviously, I gave GATE. First time I failed, second time I gave GATE again. And during that, I had shortlisted a few courses which were math oriented and also had computer science components. I'm not mentioning it specifically here. And finally, I landed up in control and computing in IIT Bombay as an RA.
Yeah.
After the interview process, after all those interviews and tests and all, I was pretty sure it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because there were 5 interviews, and out of that I only gave 2, because after 2 I got dejected, frankly speaking. So I thought this is not going to happen. I thought this is more than enough. I'm leaving it here. I will maybe pursue signal processing or something else like that in somewhere else. That was my mentality then. So I knew ki out of 5 I only gave 2, so obviously it's not going to happen. But call came for RA, but I had no idea under whom. I came here, 1 week passed. I had a vague idea that it is Subhasis Chaudhary sir and in Vision and Image Processing Lab. Okay. I went there and met him after 1 week.
Yeah.
Then I came to know ki, he told me you will be working in deep learning and all. Then I was like, okay, we didn't. It was not meant to be like that.
Yes.
But I directly got to do control as my academics work and also as RA work in deep learning. So it was like a perfect combination. Luck played its part. So that's how I landed up in Vision and Image Processing Lab. And from there, I had to pick up everything. Reading papers, understanding stuff, how to code in Python, coding as such, completely from scratches. So that's how it got built up from Sem 1. And gradually, I ended up in Honda.
Yes. Yeah, quite a journey actually. Like whatever means, your journey like from getting closer to Robocon and then finally getting admitted to control and computing, and again getting back to getting in the lab like deep learning where we are working in those projects. So I think that's really exciting and motivating for the student. Like things happen.
Yeah, things happen. Things happen for a good reason, and if you just keep on pursuing what you want to, finally you will end up with it.
Yes, yes, Divakar. Yeah, Divakar. So we can now talk a bit about the placement process. And so what are the steps like? So in case of Honda R&D, you signed the JAF. So there was any SOP or not?
For Honda R&D, you can call it an SOP, but it was not the typical SOP. They were very strict about how we should approach it. They had 3 questions, and we were supposed to answer it only in some 2 to 3 sentences. They were strict about it. So I think you can call that questionnaire as SOP. So you should. It was like, do you want to be? What is your priority division? There were 3 divisions or JAFs. They called it division. So they asked, what is your priority division? Then if we wanted to be considered for other divisions and why we should be considered. Then what we want to achieve at Honda in next 3 to 5 years of career and why. Then it was, what do you think makes you fit to achieve this goal in such a short notice? These were the questionnaires we were supposed to answer.
Yeah.
So that was the closest thing which we were supposed to submit as an SOP.
Yes. Yes, Divakar. So Divakar, of course, you have mentioned all the 3-4 questions, and you have mentioned that you had to answer all those questions very, very brief. So maybe you can talk about like how did you answer those questions? Because if we have to write in a long format, then of course we can write a lot. But when we have to be very, very precise, so what are the points that we should include in answering those questions? Maybe you could walk us through those questions and the way you frame the answer for those questions.
Okay. Questions. My priority division was like, see, first thing, it's always easy for the person who reads your SOP, or at least when it is a questionnaire. SOPs, they can understand it is meant to be a bit more longer. So when they are very stringent, you should answer it in 2 to 3 sentences. It's better to be crisp. Say what you want directly. That is it. So what I did was like, when they asked me what is my priority division, I said my priority division is AI researcher. And they had asked us to answer maximum in 2 to 3 sentences. So I had a couple of sentences left. So what I said is like what the works I did, and I had some published work then. So I also attached that as a hyperlink in LaTeX. So it's like we didn't use much space, but we have included all the stuff in that.
Yes.
So if they're interested, you can just click on the link and you can get the paper. So they will know, yeah, this person has worked there. And yeah, that was brief, but everything was there, but up to the point. And second one was like, do you want to be considered for other divisions and why? Yeah, I had applied for computer vision also. I told I would like to be considered for computer vision profile. And the reasons, like, my work is in intersection between deep learning and vision, and I have worked in vision and image processing lab under Professor Subhash Chaudhary. That's it. It's mostly brief and crisp, but try to include more than the story. Try to include the points which you want. First one, it was like my division and my paperwork. Second one was like my second priority division and why. That's it. Why is like vision and image processing lab. And what do you want to achieve at Honda in the next 3 to 5 years? So what I wrote is specifically like I would like to learn more from my peers and then contribute heavily into the AI research and develop sophisticated algorithms, gadgets, something else. That's what I suppose. And what do you think makes you fit to achieve this goal in such a short time? I don't frankly remember what I wrote, but I think something brief. Maybe I'm not sure what I wrote that time for this. So I think I might have told them how I work in my lab and how I have done till now, along with my PhD peers and my own work. Maybe I don't remember exactly. Yeah, but it's brief and crisp. When you are asked to be brief, it's better to be brief, but include all the details as much as possible.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, like
I hope it clarifies.
Sorry.
I hope it clears whatever was intended to be.
Yes, yes, yeah, definitely, definitely. Anyway, means people will definitely frame their own answers, but like the way you explained that we have to be crisp, and you means mention your publication as hyperlink. So I think in very just a link you added your research work. So I think those things are very helpful when we are very running short on words where we cannot write sentences.
We can't write. See, if we say ki I did, even the name of the paper might be too long for 2-3 sentences sometimes. So it's easier to say ki I have worked in AI and got published in so and so conferences. It's here. In that here you can have all the works dumped in. If they are interested, they can see. We haven't broken any of their regulations. So it's fine.
Yes, these ideas or these tips really work for people, when they will be sitting for their own placement. So these things will help them out. And yes, so of course, Miss, you had signed the JAF of Honda R&D by this questionnaire and your resume.
Yeah.
Yes. And did Honda conduct any test, any written test?
Yeah, Honda did have a test. I think it was generic for all 3 profiles. It was not specific, profile specific. As far as I remember, they had basic statistics and probability, some basic coding. I think in any language, I suppose I preferred Python. There was aptitude, which was decent enough. I mean, a bit more above than decent, like somewhere around CAT level, I would say.
Okay.
And yeah, I think there was a few basic ML questions also. So this was their tests. And there was a resume shortlisting. Okay, before or after, I don't remember, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, fine. So, so you have mentioned that there was a test, and in that test we had all these things like machine learning, statistical probability, and some amount of aptitude questions as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what were the number of questions in that test? Rough, do you remember that?
I don't remember the number of questions.
Okay, and all of the questions were MCQ questions. All of the questions.
Yeah. Obviously, except for coding, baki all were MCQ questions.
Okay, so in coding question, you have to write the code from scratch.
Yes, it was. See, frankly, it was not too hard. So, mostly, if you are accustomed to coding, you will be able to do it pretty easy.
Okay, so in a single sitting, you have to solve the MCQ, and then you have also to code certain questions.
Yeah, it's a mix of all this. So I just remember, and I just told Ki this. There were these sections or questions from these topics. There are no separate sections. It's like a mix of all this, and maybe the coding part will be clubbed together.
Okay, okay. And how many coding questions were there?
As far as I remember, I think 3 coding questions.
Okay, 3 coding questions, and then there are these MCQ, aptitude, machine learning, statistics, and all these things. So, how much time was allotted for this test?
I don't remember.
Okay, okay, yeah. So, okay, and do you remember the platform on which the test was conducted?
I don't remember that either.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, I think it has been so long since we attempted those tests. So
yeah,
obviously. But I think, yeah, Miss, you have given the idea, like, Miss, the syllabus roughly you have given, so I think people can get an idea of this. And as you have mentioned, that coding questions were not that tough. If you are practicing coding regularly, then you will be able to solve
Yeah,
the
you
questions.
will be able to solve it. And as I was not able to answer your question about that platform, I would say it was not hard to manage. It's pretty
Yes.
straightforward.
Yes.
And yeah, it was, there was no issues with platform dependencies also, unlike many other platforms. So I don't remember which platform it was, but it was easy to manage.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So, but do you remember that whether these jobs, means jobs of Honda R&D, were open for all of the departments, or
Yeah, that is the most interesting question, because when we saw the JAF first, we were like, there is no chance we are going to be shortlisted for this, because it was open for literally all,
okay?
across all departments, across all courses. I think if people have seen that campus placement, you will be there. It's a box where there will be listed the courses and departments will be listed, and you will see checks against which all the departments and courses are eligible. For Honda, it was like complete check, 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 check. So, whatever department was there in IIT Bombay, they could have applied for any courses. So, application eligibility was not an issue.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Any CPI cutoff in that job?
No, there was no CPI cutoff. At least for applying, there was no CPI cutoff. And for shortlisting, I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, resume shortlisting was there. I don't think there was a specific CPI cutoff for any of this, because there was a good variety of people who got shortlisted, as far as I knew.
Since the JAPS was open for almost all the departments and courses, so I think people could sign it by using the resume and the questionnaire which we have talked earlier. So these
Yeah.
things were required to sign the JAPS. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was test, resume shortlisting. It might be any order, means resume shortlisting first, followed by test, or vice versa.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it was. And also, the questionnaire was there, but we submitted it after signing the JAF, I suppose. But we all these stuffs were required for you to be considered. I don't remember the exact order how it was done, but yeah, all these are required for you to be considered for the JAF.
Okay, okay, yeah, I get it. Yes, Divakar. So now we can talk a bit about your resume. Of course, your resume
Mm-hmm.
is quite impressive, and since you have been working in the VIP lab, for a couple of years now, and your project, everything is very streamlined towards this area of deep learning and vision, all these things. So we can talk a bit about your resume, like how did means the resume is frozen in the very beginning of the placement season. So how should we structure our resume, or how should we shape our resume? We can talk specially about these profiles like AI and ML researcher. We can talk about, like, some if someone is applying for those profiles, so how should they prioritize the things in their resume, or yeah.
Yeah. See, I would say it in this way. Uh, this is specifically as a placement for placements, but I would always say prioritize your work first. Like I'm not talking about resume or placements and all. When you join for masters, prioritize or get obsessed with one specific kind of work. You It is possible here. And that's for sure. In IIT, it's possible to get choose your field and get obsessed with it, whichever field you like. So if you do that, the good thing is, like, once maybe you for placements or maybe for anything else, once that time nears, you will have enough stuff to talk about without any without hesitating, right? Problem is, like, we'll have to work more to write stuff if we don't have anything genuine to say,
Yes.
right? If you have enough quality to portray, you don't have to worry about the quantity part. So if you get obsessed and if you have enough projects, research projects, or maybe course projects, whatever suits you, and if you are, you will know when you join masters at least to which side you are inclined towards. So if you are able to do some good works in that, you will have enough stuff to fill your resume. And how it is done, you will be guided towards it during that part, but I'll give you brief outline. Mostly it is like you'll highlight how if it is a research project, you will highlight how your work is different from the remaining works. You will say in numbers, like, how, again, it should be brief and crisp. So you will just project out, like, this work solves this X percentage more with more accuracy than the rest. So it's like, what is it being solved at what efficiency in that way. So try to push out whatever good. There is no point explaining the whole work, because mostly what will happen is the other person may not know what you're talking about. You'll have to explain it from scratch. So brief intro and how good yours is from others and why it is so different. It's more than enough, I suppose, for projects. And as far as you structure your resume, as you told, if I'm talking only about AI, ML and all, I hope people would have taken courses, obviously, in ML. It's quite a big trend now. So ML, image processing, NLP, or whatever you are interested into, I would encourage them to prepare a separate resume for this profile also, so that they will be able to include specific courses. I think these keywords, machine learning, natural language processing, vision or image processing, all these keywords, deep learning, these might matter when you are doing resume shortlisting. I'm not sure how the resume shortlisting are done for each company, but even if it is automated or not automated, these keywords will be helpful. So for that, it's better to have a separate resume for this profile and have all these keywords inside. So for that, you'll have to work in that direction. It's like just taking one course and thinking about what to write is not the right way to go for it. It's better to have at least enough courses. Plus, more than that, I would say it's good to have as many projects as possible. It's quite doable. Right. So try to project out most of the works you have done and the courseworks. Baki, it's fine. I hope it's.
Yes, Divakar. Yeah, definitely. You have, like you have mentioned, that machine learning have and these things have become a trend these days. And so, of course, you should do enough number of courses to so as to like make your resume oriented towards that direction. Means you cannot simply take one course and feel confident about it. You have to do substantial amount of work in that area. So
Yeah, so it's not just about the courses, I would say. It's like you should have a good balance. If you have done 4 courses in ML and you don't have much projects to portray, I'm not sure how it will turn out. At the same time, if you don't have any courses, or at least you don't have anything done, but you have enough projects to portray, it might stand out still. It depends quite a lot on how the resume is being shortlisted, right? If somebody is taking the effort to go through your resume and see, this person have done these projects, even though he haven't done any courses, cool. But we don't know how it is being shortlisted. So it's better to be in the middle path. Have enough courses and have enough of the projects, put it together. You'll have a good resume for this profile.
Yes, definitely. There should be a balance between the courses and the projects actually. Yes, that's a very good point. Yes, Divakar. So, like any courses, like means we all know that these days people are really, leaning towards these areas, machine learning, deep learning, AI, and all these things. So, would you like to recommend like any courses or any projects which, because in case of master student, they really want to work in these areas, but they sometimes they are a bit confused, like which courses I should take, which path I should follow. So, do you have something to share, like in that direction, like?
Yeah, see, with whatever knowledge I have, I would say, like, it's always good to have ML in your course name, fundamental machine learning, or if you are able to do it in the institute.
Yes,
I'm talking about in that sense. I'm not talking about other online courses. I'm talking about if you have the chance to take courses here, it's like go for ML based courses and then also decide to which side you are trying to focus. Maybe it is natural language processing, maybe it is vision and image processing, maybe, or some people maybe want to work in audio processing. So if you have a good combination of that broader base, ideal case scenario, broad math base, over that a good ML base, over that your specific application base. If you are able to build it that way, it would look better, and also you will be able to do good projects in all these sections. So I would like to suggest that kind of a pyramid approach. But yeah, it's not the only way you can do stuff. There is no need you have to always take application-based courses to get through this. But yeah, this is what I have done, knowingly or unknowingly, but that's why I'm suggesting it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good strategy. That first do a course on foundations of machine learning, means some basic machine learning where you get exposed to certain techniques and tools and some mathematics, and then depending on the area like image, vision, NLP, you can take courses in that direction. That way, I think you can shape or orient your resume in that direction. Yeah. Yeah, so then I think we have talked about the resume as well, and uh, we will definitely talk about your interview process as we progress in the upcoming time. Now,
Okay.
another thing which I forgot to mention earlier, like in case of test, you mentioned that there were MCQs, of statistics, machine learning, and aptitude and all these things. So aptitude we can skip it as of now, but we can talk about the MCQs of machine learning and statistics. So how did you prepare for those MCQs, or how one should prepare for solving those MCQs?
See, all those MCQs question. I'm not talking about just Honda. For whatever ML-based tests I have given,
Yeah.
if you are sure about your fundamental machine learning course, you will be able to crack those stuff. What happens is like we will take fundamental machine learning initially, then we will go for advanced ML where we do a lot of deep learning stuff. Maybe then we will specialize a bit more,
Yes.
and we tend to forget what happened in fundamental ML because mostly when you do deep learning based courses works, you may or may not directly utilize the concepts you learned there. Depends on the work you're doing. So there is a chance you tend to forget what is bagging, what is boosting, what is all those stuff.
Yeah.
So if you are able to do have a good base in fundamental machine learning, you will be able to crack almost all the tests in ML oriented direction for placements. Nothing more than that.
Okay, so that's the
Right.
basics of any foundation of machine learning.
Basics of Yeah, basics in the sense I would say fundamental ML course. It's like underfitting, overfitting, bagging, boosting, loss functions,
Yes.
all those stuffs, and basic statistics like median, mean, mode,
Yes.
other measures and all.
Yes. Yes, Divakar. So Divakar, there is another aspect of it that usually in case of in the foundations course we definitely study these things, but we do not I think study much about deep learning. But in company test we also have questions on deep learning. So how should one go about those questions? Or
In company tests, I have seen deep learning questions, but compared to the fundamental ML questions, they are very less in number.
okay, yeah,
They are very less in numbers. I would say yeah, for all the tests which I have sat for, fundamental machine learning questions dominate deep learning questions. If there are 10 fundamental machine learning questions, maybe you'll have 2 or 3 deep learning questions in
yeah,
that proportion. So, but I'm not telling you should not prioritize deep learning. For deep learning, it's mostly they haven't gone beyond convolutional neural network in asking questions because it's a bit hard to have good objective questions framed which you can solve in 1 minute in deep learning because you'll have to tell a lot of story.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So it's mostly, I would say, have a good base over convolutional neural network, how it works, how was padding, and all those parameters molding your network, how the network will change when you change all this, and how backpropagation and choosing losses for specific applications is done.
yeah.
All those basic stuffs. That's where mostly all these questions are based out of. And rest of the thing, it's mostly from FML itself, fundamental machine learning courses, whichever courses you have taken from there. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think this.
But there is one thing I would like to add. This is I'm talking only about tests. When you go for interviews, it will change a bit.
Yes,
They
yes.
don't have any set criteria of key. They will ask only this or that.
Yeah.
So based on your resume and your field which you have bragged about, they will ask anything they feel like.
Yeah, there you have to have in-depth knowledge, and there, based on the projects which you have mentioned in your resume, you have to be ready for those questions.
Yeah.
Yes, Divakar. Yeah. Thank you very much.